You know what? My color is going and coming back. I don't know.
Are you on Tellus?
It's the light that you're putting on your face. You're effing with the white balance. So your camera is adapting.
I guess.
You probably have both fluorescent and incandescent, and also the light from the monitor. Yeah. So
Okay.
your white balance is so you get the Hulk,
Fine.
and now you get the pink.
It's fine. White face is acceptable. Green face is acceptable.
Primarily Critical. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Primarily Critical of Movies and Afterparty. This would be it.
If you have not seen this film, we suggest that you do so before listening any further.
We've got spoilers, trivia, and opinions like crazy, and we can't wait to share them.
Good, bad, new, old, weird, or gross.
We pass judgment on them all.
Today, hide your pianos, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Rogers might get angry. My name is Steve. I'm here with
Christian.
And Greg.
Am I lagging? A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Today we're talking about A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Mr. Rogers, all that good stuff. I think this was Christian's pick. How did it live up to your expectations?
It was fabulous. Tom Hanks is great. The story was great. There is an Esquire. The story of the movie is the journalist who's writing an article about Mr. Rogers. The article is available. It's on Esquire's. It was a quick Google. I can give you the link, Steve, so that you can put it in the comments under the video.
Cool.
It's almost scene for scene. Like it's a very faithful recreation of the article story.
Huh.
And that made me very happy that the story was like basically true. Little kids did sing to him on the subway. Wherever he goes, his handlers would be like, "Come on, Mr. Rogers, we got places to go." And he'd be like, "No, I have to say hi to this little kid because this little kid is way more important than whatever the hell you want me to do."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah.
I was wondering. My first question:
Okay.
Do you think those puppets were the real props? Do you think Tom Hanks in this movie had that kind of pull?
I don't want to step on the trivia, but I read a lot of trivia.
Okay.
And,
I did not read the trivia.
Okay, so it's not covered in the trivia. They are meticulously recreated.
Okay, they looked
look pretty
beautiful.
close, yes.
Yeah. They were painstakingly, heart-achingly recreated. And
I wonder where the real props are, or whether they survived, or whether they're in the Smithsonian or something like that.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's a nice man.
Yeah.
Guy. So there was parts in the movie that annoyed me, and primarily critical. I'll just dive right in. There was a dream sequence that bothered me. It felt really janky. That he was like suddenly on the set, and he was a puppet, or I don't know. Greg, how did you feel about the movie?
I laugh because I took a lot of the basically like everyone else in the movie, like "Don't wreck my childhood," kind of thing. And it's like we went through this and we saw this, and I remember him from when I, in my ruby colored glasses when I was a kid watching this, and it was always, you would really talk to kids like that and stuff, and then when I watched the movie, I liked the movie because it kind of brought that back. And then as a parent, I'm like, man, I need to bang the piano more because I'm not the way I handle some of that stuff with my kids, I was like, oh, you suck, you should be more like Mr. Rogers, and I mean, just the way the movie's done, it seems like it's in a level to live up to. But yeah, like I really like the movie. I don't know about that dream sequence. You're talking like when he jumps through and from the hospital and runs around there, or am I like he ends up on set and then passes out? Is that the dream sequence?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
But then he ends up in Mr. Rogers' house. So did he just freak out, get on set, and then because he wakes up in Rogers' place? So was it a dream sequence, or did he actually go on set and then pass out?
I think it was a little of both. Like he's not sure what was real and what wasn't, and he did pass out on set.
Yeah, and when he was a tiny little guy on that fake castle, that was
that's true. Yeah,
that was definitely not
sure.
a real thing.
No, but
I wonder if there's anything that Mr. Rogers could not, like Fred Rogers could not handle.
Well,
his wife says there is.
Yeah.
His wife said, he gets angry and he has a temper problem. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Now maybe her scale is a little one-sided.
Yeah, it's a little Fred Rogers scaled, like normal people angry and then Mr. Rogers angry. I mean, he must have had ways of dealing with like the burdens of all the kids he met and all the people he would talk to, and they would just dump their problems on him, and he would just take them. Like he would be able to handle that.
But I mean, they showed that because he talks about the, like you had said with the piano banging on the keys, and they showed a couple scenes like that, or he was talking about
smashing the clay.
Days, I smash the clay, I swim laps, and you see him in the pool. So it's like, and I get that too. Like you do running or whatever, you just get into that repetitive stuff, and then it gets in that, and it's kind of that Zen moment where you can kind of let everything just bleed out. So hopefully, but I mean, it's about when you're being angry, not to be like snap and attack, and be more just like. I mean, as a parent and with kids and whatever, I mean, you get that too. So you're kind of like, oh, and then I've regret my decision of what I did with this and how I handled that. So I don't know. It spoke to me on like a bunch of different levels, kind of thing. From your childhood to being a parent, and then looking at how you're treating your kids with your, and then just interesting on how his take or the perspective and how he does it. Like I can't even,
Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine.
We're near the same age, so we all watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood around the same age.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, I was more of a Mr. Dressed Up, but I'm
Mr. Dress Up, eh? Yeah.
What did you think of Mr. I mean, you were aware of it, of Mr. Rogers at the time when you were 6 or 10.
I found it a little boring when it was right next to my very violent cartoons. But I could see, I could see the merit. I wanted to see more of the puppets. I actually liked the puppets part of it. But when he was walking through his house and yammering on it, it seemed to drag a bit.
Yeah. I really liked the videos that he would play in picture, picture.
Oh yeah, picture.
Like how newspapers were printed, or how cans were packaged, or basically the discovery how it's made show 20, 30 years before how it's made.
Yeah, that's what that was good.
Yeah, I remember thinking Mr. Rogers was kind of boring.
Yeah,
but I did watch it. No, and I like Mr. Rogers much more now than I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I think that's your parents looking at the show thinking like, yes, I'm okay with my kid watching this, because it's and there used to be, back when we were younger, there was a requirement for Saturday morning cartoons and things like that to have a certain teaching element, whereas that's not the case, So instead of just like you'd said, you had your violent cartoons or whatever, it was a nice, like there were a bunch of them, like Romper Room and I don't know,
Friendly Giant,
Barney.
You can hear the music in your. Well, Barney's a little. That would be
Oh, it was a little later. Yeah.
a little later. Just like I guess Teletubbies was. It's still too. My kids are too young for that, but that was maybe some other kid's version of Mr. Rogers. I don't know what kids nowadays would call their Mr. Rogers. If it Blue's Clues, maybe no.
Well,
Yeah, but I
nowadays
guess-
it's Daniel Tiger's.
Oh
something.
yeah, because it's basically Mr. Rogers, but with Daniel Tiger's neighborhood.
Yeah.
They've just put the cartoon character into Mr. Rogers.
Wow.
But yeah, as a movie, I really enjoyed this, and I didn't have the Kleenex close, but there were a couple times that it was like starting to rain outside.
Yeah.
You know?
I bawled like a toddler.
Yeah. Man.
But it's funny, right? Because that's the whole thing and the premise. Because the guy was a whatever. He would always
A walking saint.
No, not him. I'm talking about the Vogel, the guy
Oh, yeah,
Jerry
yeah.
Vogel. That was his job, to find the dirt behind and take everyone apart. And then the fact that they get this guy and he comes out and he's like, "What?
There's no, there's no dirt.
There is
There's
no
no
dirt.
dirt.
What's going on, right?
Mr. Rogers is actually that nice
So
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, don't you find that exhausting?
yeah. But he did have a way of like, the way he was communicating was like, okay, I'm talking to a 7-year-old, so it has to be this simple. Cut it down there, Whereas
Yeah.
I haven't mastered that yet. Sometimes I'll be like, it's like this, la, 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 and then kids are looking at me like, what?
God, why are you so stupid?
Because
Oh.
you haven't gone to school for 10 years, whatever.
Honestly, the first time around with Zachary, with my oldest, I only had the one kid, right? So I needed to communicate with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I used words that he could understand as he grew up. I used more and more and more complex terminology, but now that he's like 9 and my youngest is 5, switching back and forth is a nightmare. I have no patience for the little guy at all. And
Well, you have to use your 9-year-old as a translator. Tell
your
tell
brother
this.
this.
Yeah, tell your brother this
Yeah.
in a way that your brother will handle.
Yeah, I can't say that I haven't done that.
We know you. You're yelling for your wife. Honey!
Hey, I'm gonna kill one of these kids.
Get the kids out of my.
Oh,
Also, he's
God.
not like that. That's, yeah.
Let's see, what have I written down here? He says to his sister, "I look forward to your weddings every year." This guy is a piece of work. Okay, is Mr. Rogers naive? Can we ask that? Is he naive?
No.
No.
I think
He's got it figured out.
Well, he's very deep, and he addresses a bunch of, like, he even talks about that, like death and all the other things that he explains that, but just he takes it and breaks it down into levels that a kid can understand or a child can understand. And I think that's kind of the opposite, because he's not trying to hide anything from them.
Right.
He just explains it in his, the way that he does, so that they understand in their terms without having to go, honey.
Huh.
No, I forget. I like there's whatever Mr. Rogers did before he got into public broadcasting. Like, he had a real job in the real world. He lives in New York City. You cannot be a country bumpkin in New York City, or you'll die. So he knows that there's evil in the world. He's not stupid, but he knows that also he needs a place for children to shelter from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, focus on the positive kind of thing.
All the exterior shots of the movie were miniatures.
Yeah, those were beautiful. The little actual recreation of the Mister Rogers neighborhood set.
Yeah, with the expansion of the city.
With we go around the
Yeah,
hill,
yeah.
around the hill, and then there's Philadelphia in the
Yeah,
background.
you're
That's
like, wait,
pretty cool.
what?
Yeah. I was wondering where that trolley went. Oh, there.
Oh,
Oh,
ding ding.
Um, the after watching this movie, do you feel like you've tried to? How did I write this? Have you made any self improvements since watching the movie?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, that's awesome.
Definitely made attempts if I wasn't successful, but for sure. Writing down
he's
things
an
like
inspiring guy.
this.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in that other link that you said that you'd post, because you said there was basically a documentary to this.
Well,
effect,
the
right?
journalist really wrote that article,
Mm-hmm.
and that article is a real thing. So I will post that link to the article, and it's not very long, but it is. You'll be like, yeah, that was in the movie. That was in the movie. That was in the movie. That was in the movie.
Cool.
You know, the probably the circumstances of the journalist's like real life maybe changed, but the article that he wrote basically is all in the movie.
Well, and the other thing that I liked out of the movie is the guy that they had sort of being his handler was an ex politician, a director of politics or whatever, right? Like a campaign manager.
Yeah, campaign manager for some politician.
And at the end, it seemed that like him and Vogel had more in common, right? Because they've dealt with the darker sides of, and that was what he said. He's like, oh, Rogers likes people like you, but he's also talking about himself, right?
Yeah.
So
like he's cynical. He's like, oh yeah, Rogers really enjoys like garbage people like you, like
people like you.
But you get the feeling that he was a garbage person too, right? You know. So
he likes projects. He likes difficult projects.
Difficult projects. So I don't know. Yeah, definitely a good watch.
Yeah, I have some trivia that's not in the trivia.
Oh sure, fire away, buddy.
All right, we ready for trivia?
Yes.
Okay, Coco the gorilla. Do you remember Coco the gorilla?
She had a kitten.
She had a kitten. She was a gorilla that was taught American Sign Language, and she communicated her wants and thoughts and whatever. She watched Fred Rogers. She loved him. He got to meet her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That must have been a magical moment.
It probably was. I would like to see if there was video of it.
I think I've seen something. Maybe it was just a picture. Huh. Where was Coco?
I don't remember. A university somewhere in the U.S. I don't remember which one.
Fair enough. Next point of trivia. Fred Rogers was known to be extremely difficult to interview because he cared more about the person interviewing him than he did about being interviewed, and would often use the time to befriend the person interviewing him. I could imagine that would be very frustrating for somebody who's trying to get a job done. It's like interviewing Robin Williams, and all he wants to do is make you laugh.
So she was born at the San Francisco Zoo, and she lived most of her life in Woodside, California.
Oh, okay.
And her and Fred Rogers died fairly close together. She died in 2018.
Huh.
And Fred Rogers died in 2003.
Probably unrelated.
Yeah. Not related, no.
No.
Okay.
Drove off a cliff together.
Yeah. The days before the film premiered, Ancestry confirmed Tom Hanks and Fred Rogers are actually sixth cousins.
Okay.
I think that sixth cousin is pretty thin.
Is that like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
I think we're all sixth cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all seventh or eighth cousins.
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
I don't know that I like you guys as cousins, but whatever.
well,
Anyways,
I could read this next one if you want, because then
no,
you could. Okay, go for it.
I'll take the little one. Okay, Fred Rogers' widow, Joan Rogers, has stated that Tom Hanks is the perfect actor to play her late husband.
She was not wrong.
No.
He did a pretty good job.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think Tom took it seriously enough. He doesn't take things lightly.
Not anymore. Not since he made the switch to drama.
No, not anymore.
No. Sorry, we were talking Fred Rogers, and I'm old enough to remember him as a comedian.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Tom Hanks used to do comedy all the time, right? And then
he did Big. He did The Burbs. You know, I've been meaning to pick The Burbs forever. Anyway, I don't want to change the topic.
There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah.
There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, you heard the line in your head.
I did. In an interview on CBS this morning in 1992, Tom Hanks described playing Fred Rogers as terrifying due to Rogers' immense cultural and social influence. He credited Joan Rogers, who served as a consultant on the film, with helping him to craft an honest and believable representation of her late husband. Joanne also gave Hanks several of Fred's neckties, which Hank wore in the film. Oh, that's nice. She seems like a cool.
Why was Tom Hanks what was the date in there? 1992. Why was Tom Hanks concerned with playing Fred Rogers in 1992?
When did this movie come out? Oh, that's got to be a typo.
Yeah, I don't know what that 1992 date in that trivia means. Unless CBS This Morning began airing in 1992 and Tom Hanks was interviewed like 20 years later.
You know what? IMDb, I'm very disappointed in you. I rely on you for trivia, and you just let anybody write crap there.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's okay. It's okay. And this is unsubstantiated trivia. On occasion, I do say that.
You can go back and change it. You'd be like, I fixed it.
No.
Done.
No, this
Good
will
deed.
stand. This will stand.
Good deed done, Fred Rogers.
All right, what's coming up next week?
Next week, Monday at noon, we're covering Skyscraper. The
Sky Crapper.
The Dwayne Johnson classic.
That's my pick.
Greg, without any spoilers, why did you pick it?
Well, because I didn't know he was picking A Beautiful Day, so I didn't know that I'd have to follow his movie with my movie choice. That being said, I enjoyed it, and you will too, because it's huge, the best. Skyscraper.
It's everything I thought it would be. I can't wait to talk about it, and I can't wait for you to join us Monday at noon. That's when we release our podcast, primarylycritical.com. We have shirts, we have hats, we don't have hats. We have bags, we have mugs.
Bandanas? We should get bandanas.
Face masks. We should get.
We should get face masks. Yeah.
We could do that.
Well, right now I have a deal with Cotton Cart, but who knows? Maybe I'll switch to a Canadian company because I just realized I just found out recently that we have quite a few to choose from. Where was I going with this?
This is my battle eyes.
Oh yeah, we got primarylycritical.com. We got a movie for you there. We got 300 plus podcasts for you to listen to, and
you're inside anyways. Go through them all, right? You're not going anywhere.
Just put them on.
Comments.
There's not going to be a Christmas.
Let us know. Let us know what we need to change.
You're a beacon of hope, sir.
Code Orange. Code Orange.
Anyway, we're gonna see you there, and you beautiful people. I can't wait to see you.